Cent Podcast.
All right. Welcome back to You Deserve a Drink. This is Matthew here. I'm joined with Rizzle. What's up, Rizzle?
What's up, man? I'm going to try to talk slower this week because I know when I'm excited, I start rattling off things really, really fast. But we have a lot of really exciting stuff to talk about this week. You want me to just dive right into it, or you want to start us off here?
Dude, I can feel that it's hard for you to contain your excitement. I don't want you to wait any longer. Just rip the lid off of it.
Yeah, man. So in between last podcast and this podcast, I've been in conversation with Skeeny. And as you know, there's been a lot of posts flying around about this upcoming CryptoVoxels Art Tour. And so Skeeny and I have been talking about that. And somehow the idea came up for a bunch of the artists to contribute some of their social currencies to be given away on our podcast as a way to hype the event. And I wasn't really sure. I was like, how big is this thing going to be? How much time and effort are people actually putting into this thing? But all of a sudden, man, one morning in my wallet, all of a sudden, cryptocurrencies, social currencies from Skeeny, Connie, MLibT, WG Meets, Mara, Mighty Moose, Xcopy, all showed up to be given away during this podcast. So the idea is we're going to have a trivia question somewhere in this podcast, and it's up to our listeners to find it, and they can DM myself or Matthew the answer that they think it is. And we'll be giving out 14,000 worth of these various social currencies to be used to purchase artwork and stuff. It's really exciting, man. It's really exciting to see the collaboration between all these artists. What have you seen on your end? We were talking about this a little bit beforehand, and I both of us, I feel like, see that something is really happening here. What's your take on it all?
Well, just this collaboration amongst creators on Cent, coordinating things through Cent channels, through the Cent group messenger, direct messenger, through posts, in the replies and sub-replies for this hugely labor-intensive and just creatively magnificent project on another site like CryptoVoxels. Just that in and of itself is so exciting to me. I had a post the other day, community and social capital, and below there I had some fantastic replies, but blackbox.art, who's also a central figure in this CryptoVoxels Art Tour, just kind of nailed it, how she feels that on Cent, like this community that's arising, it's really unlike any other network that she's a part of. And she was trying to figure out and think through why that could be. Unlike other sites that tend to be quite restrictive and try to just capture people's attention and hold them on that site for as long as they possibly can during a specific session. On Cent, instead, we empower users financially and then also just create like this open sandbox, in a sense, for the creators to experiment on Cent, go to other sites potentially and come back. We're just seeing with the CryptoVoxels Art Tour, one specific instantiation of that playing in the sandbox and being able to dabble on other sites and then take the learnings from there and the excitement there and just keep bringing it back and feeding it back into Cent. And it's been interesting to watch on Twitter how this is being perceived by, first of all, CryptoVoxels itself, but all the artists that are paying attention to this, how they're retweeting these announcements, how they're creating original tweet shout-outs, describing the event, talking about what's happening, how they're messaging at other users, trying to get them to join in or take notice. It's just extremely interesting to watch how this is all organically evolving. To be part of it, it's pretty dope. And on top of this, the idea that you had birthed a couple weeks back with the Secret Santa, that's also now tied in to this CryptoVoxels Art Tour. So do you want me to go into a little bit more detail about where we're at right now with Secret Santa and how that ties in with CryptoVoxels Art Tour?
Yeah, sure. I'm excited to hear.
So as of today, we have 9 creators and artists locked in. They're busy creating original work, Cent inspired, of course. That'll be featured in the various galleries, or most likely within blackbox.art's Cent specific gallery, so that people during the course of their CryptoVoxels Art Tour, they'll go through this Cent gallery where this commissioned artwork will be viewable and everyone will be able to see it and start salivating over just like the sexy Cent logo inspired art. But these pieces will be gifted to some lucky Cent users who responded to one of my previous posts earlier this week, asking people if they're interested in crypto art, if they're collectors, if they're not collectors. Just kind of like why the idea of crypto art is appealing to them. There's some really great answers, some super thoughtful answers from people that will then be whitelisted. And in a week or so after the CryptoVoxel Art Tour ends, the artists themselves will be gifting their works to these lucky recipients. And just to make sure everyone knows, these artists were paid in advance for this work, so they're getting paid for their work and their time and their effort. It's just that the users on Cent will be able to benefit from this. And if they want to support an event like this happening again, there'll be opportunity for them to donate to the next event like this. Like Lazarus2571, Blackbox.art, of course, Connie, MLibty, No Shot, Matthias C., Gold Key, Bardi and Son. They're all in.
Dude, I have goosebumps, man. It's so exciting. I was thinking to myself earlier as I was getting ready to sit down and record this with you. I was like, I'm going to go record a podcast to, shine a spotlight on a virtual reality crypto art tour. I was like, that is so fucking cool, man. I was like, never in my life did I think that that's what I would be doing today. But it's so exciting, man. The thing that really excites me so much about all of this is I feel like in the crypto world, but in like our world in general, so much of this type of thing is kill or be killed. Like there's not collaboration. Everyone's trying to step on each other's backs to, claw their way to the top. And it's just everyone's out for themselves. And that's just sort of the culture of a lot of ways to make money or whatever you would call it. And to see people like genuinely helping each other out and working together and excited to work together just for, something mutually beneficial. I don't know. It sort of like restores my faith in humanity in a lot of ways. It's really, really exciting to be a part of. And, I was saying before we got started, it seems like we had a flame, and now it's, we kept blowing on it, just like everybody else was too. And now like things are really starting to happen, and it is cool to be a part of it, man. I feel like I got a driver's view of the whole thing as it's unfolding. And I wish I was more artsy, but it's just not my bag. So do you want to move on to our trivia question and we'll take it from there? It sort of ties in with the CryptoVoxel Art Tour.
So Puffin, who is like the wordsmith on Cent, he's best known, I think, for a lot of his just super creative poems. Also, he's the person that helped No Shot out on his No Quest and put together all the riddles and just the very unique, memorable, and just very appropriate phrasing for that. Puffin also was scouting out all of the galleries that are going to take part in this CryptoVoxel Art Tour, and he put together a CryptoVoxel Lonely Planet guide. I fucking kid you not. This is an amazingly detailed guide of the actual plots. It highlights the best of the artwork, and the kicker is that it incorporates an element of a scavenger hunt throughout this tour to keep people interested and wanting to go to the next gallery. I'm not exactly sure how the scavenger hunt's going to work. I just saw the mention of a scavenger hunt, and I can only imagine how to actually play out, but it's just freaking amazing. So the question that we're going to throw out to the crowd, how many hours do you think that it took Puffin to put together this CryptoVoxels Lonely Planet guide for the CryptoVoxel Art Tour? How many hours?
We'll have to find the answer from Puffin to give it out. Yeah, it's so I guess DM myself or Matthew how many hours you think he put into it, and we'll be giving out cryptocurrencies from all the artists that we mentioned to the top several people who get the closest, and probably by the end of the bounty time we'll do the giveaway and post about it. Yes, Skeeny was hilarious, man. He was just like, I feel like we worked Puffin to death, and sent me the link to check it out. And my jaw hit the floor, man. And this is like one of these things, like these labor of loves. I don't know what Puffin stands to gain from this other than notoriety and the possibility to, like we were talking about before, be hired or seen for doing stuff like this. But it is more amazing than you could ever imagine by us describing it. I'm so excited for people to check it out. And it makes this whole tour look like a real fucking art tour. You know what I mean? This isn't just some like everybody show up and wander around type of shit. There's like a mission. There's like things to do. He has like landmarks to check out, notable artwork. And, I guess that's what a poet does, man. And that dude is true to it. So I feel like it's totally appropriate to roll him into the trivia question for the giveaway.
100%. Super excited for the CryptoVoxel Art Tour. By the time this episode comes out, the CryptoVoxel Art Tour should probably be already finished, or I don't know if it's going to be open-ended, or it'll at least be released. So I just hope that everyone enjoys that. If you haven't checked it out, go check that out. I could talk about this all day, but what do you want to talk about next?
I mean, there's a bunch of posts that jumped out at me this week. If you want to shift gears, Erixink, Erixink, his PSA on the value of time really struck a chord with me, and I could go into that for a while too. But it's a great post and just sort of like a gut check on where you're putting your energy and where your mind is most of the time. It's something I try to be mindful of a lot, but it's easy to get wrapped up in other stuff that's going on. Bitcoin Wallet is constantly coming out with like very interesting posts. And the one is very different from the next, and it's tough to dive into. But this person's been on my list of like people to shout out for multiple weeks, and I just never quite get to it because I never know exactly how to dive into their content. But it is definitely worth checking out. I got a couple other ones, man. What have you seen?
Well, you also talked about Ray Ma's post on quartering the shoe market and how the secondary shoe market is kind of like ripe for manipulation. Ray Ma, former member of the Cent team, he's now off exploring and pursuing his dream of setting up a really, really shoe-focused venture. And it was just like a really interesting look into some of the major sites where people go and buy their rare shoes. Because of the fact that people are lazy, essentially, it looks like there's just been significant arbitrage opportunities for certain shoe whales. It's kind of easy for them to find some steals on certain sites, sit on the shoes until they have like enough of the market, and then just reap some of the rewards of having purchased those shoes and cornered the market earlier. It's a really interesting view into a market that, frankly, I hadn't really considered until I met Raymond. I've never met anyone as obsessed with shoes as he has, and just hearing how he has like a room full of like shoes that he's ordered, and his brother's like taking care of all the inventory and managing that whole thing. It's just kind of like, it's crazy to see this whole new world that you had no idea exists just like come into the opening, and then you're like, wow, it's like a whole nother rabbit hole that exists.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting article.
No, that's fascinating. I knew people liked shoes and were like obsessed with shoes and bought a lot of shoes, but I didn't like know that deep into it. The most interesting thing to me was, I feel like if you took his write-up and replaced sneakers with cryptocurrencies, it's like so much of the same shit is going on. There's like bullshit ICOs, there's like market manipulation, there's big advantages for people who know the right people to pick up the early stuff and then dump it on everybody else. It's just interesting to me that when you take a commodity like sneakers, when you look at the market space, it's like, all the way around, people are essentially like doing the same type of thing with a different commodity. Yeah, man, that was very interesting. Look into his world, which I knew nothing about prior to that. Yeah, good one.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I was happy to see that you shared this week, you scooped another piece or maybe your first piece for Stina Jones. Is that right?
Yes, I scooped 3 pieces from Stina Jones. She posted her dog, the black Egyptian dog, and it was a super affordable price. And I really wanted the black cat that she had posted a long time ago, and it was like long before I had gotten into the rabbit hole. Sort of regretted missing that, so I picked up the dog, and then I looked at her profile, and she's got like a series of 3 weird fish. And you know me, man. I'm animals, weird things, and googly eyes. I'm like, oh, this is like a slam dunk, and I can't not. So I scooped up Weird Fish number 2 and 3. Her style is like my jam. It's like all the kind of strange things that I really like. So you have something of hers you mentioned. I don't think you said which one.
I scooped Songbirds in Osaka.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it also has googly eyes, so I was like, I knew Riza would like this, but it has like this facade of just like your ordinary, I guess, Osakan apartment, and then on top there's like these songbirds with googly eyes. It's so playful and different from the other work that predominates the crypto art market, which is I forget who did this study, but someone was talking about how it's like 75% like skulls and death and just like like negative things. And Stina Jones is definitely a ray of positive light and googly eyes that is standing out from the rest. But that said, I put in a bid earlier for Xcopy's new piece. It's like King Soup. Normally Xcopy has these like really jarring, super high rate of change, flickering faces that are just like intensely interesting to look at. But this King Soup that he made, it's very different from everything else. It's a little bit more low key. It is still very distinctly Xcopy. Like it has its very bold, broad strokes and like limited color palette. It's really dope. I hope I win it, but it's like I bid $127. I hope someone else doesn't notice that I outbid them. I want to keep it below $200, but like Xcopy stuff is pretty popular and fetches a pretty premium price compared to the rest of the market. So hopefully I can add to my collection of Xcopy. And just thinking about my collection, I was looking over and I saw that I like to collect in pairs. I have no idea what that means. And someone else on Cent, they posted something the other day talking about like wanting to investigate the collections that crypto art collectors are putting together. And maybe this is just seed for them to pursue that question more of what are collectors looking for? What are their proclivities? What are their tendencies when they're buying and collecting these pieces?
Yeah. Well, it's no secret what I'm looking for. Googly eyes, weird things. I got to looking. It's funny what you said about the skulls because I also quickly snatched up a skull from Laura252 this week that I thought was cool, which is generally not my jam, but I've seen a couple of hers that I really liked. And so I picked up one of those, but Stina Jones's stuff and there's a couple other people's who I got sucked into, and I'm like, I gotta stop, man. I'm like purchasing crypto art at like this ridiculous clip the past like couple weeks. It's cool, man. It's cool to be a fan of someone's and not have to go to their art gallery to support them or be a fan of theirs and just be able to go out and snatch something up. It's very exciting.
So moving on to Centerpiece, which is our time where we focus on, like, I guess our favorite posts of the past week on Cent. I'll begin. So last week, Jared12547, he made a post called Inspiring the Inspirer. I guess it's similar to the post that you were talking about earlier with Eric Sink, where he's talking about assigning proper value, thinking about the value of time in life. It's sort of in the same vein. And it's just talking about trying to find people that inspire love and try to inspire the good things in life, and how it's quite rare to encounter those people. But when you do encounter those people, it's not just the experience of being inspired by one person, but it's the chain reaction that happens from one person inspiring the next. When you inspire someone, you can really start a whole movement, and you can take one idea and turn it into the beginning of like a new society or a new order. And it just like the far reaching implications of thinking about the power of inspiration. This article really, really resonated with me, and it was just a great read. So I highly recommend everyone check out Jared12547. What was your centerpiece for the week?
Just want to echo what you're saying, man. The guy Jared has like a lot of very thought-provoking posts, and I haven't even read through like all of them, but each one I feel like he's put some time and energy into. Dude, mine is a little bit more lighthearted. It's Otis Plugado, ODESPLUGADO, And I guess this is my theme of the week, is like the minimalistic animal drawings with funny faces and stuff. He's a new user. Well, maybe not a he. This person is a new user who is taking actual animal drawings or actual pictures, photographs of animals, and making super minimalistic drawings and giving them cute, clever little titles and everything. I just, it's right up my alley. I just really dig their stuff. I had actually selected them for the centerpiece before I shot them a DM and asked if they would do one of my dog. And they did. And it came out awesome. And I was so excited. Yeah, check it out, man. My dog is on Cent and is also drawn by this artist in his profile somewhere. If there's anything I know about art, it's that it's very difficult to take something complicated and make it super simple. And I'm not an artist, man. Maybe what this person is doing is like entry level stuff, but I don't feel like it. And sometimes that doesn't matter either. If you're doing the right thing or you got the right idea and skill set, I just really dig their stuff. So and was honored after they did my dog, of course. Although that had no bearing on my choosing them for the centerpiece. So yeah, man, that's my centerpiece for the week.
And I gave Otis Plugato an instant follow, and then I immediately shot that post to my wife. Like, this is like kind of right up her alley with cute pictures and animals and things like that. Awesome pick for sure. So I guess we can wrap things up right now. To everyone, thanks for listening to here. Make sure you go check out the CryptoVoxel Art Tour. Make sure you think about the question that we put out there if you want a chance at winning some of those social currency coins. And then also don't forget to look out and shout out Puffin. Do you have any last words before we wrap this up?
No, man, I think that was solid. I'm very, very excited to do this episode with you. Very excited for the art tour. And, just keeping this whole train moving. I'm loving it.
Likewise, man. All right. Well, I'll see you over in CryptoVoxels then, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Later, dude.
Later, man.
Cent Podcast. Cent Podcast. Cent Podcast. Cent Podcast.